Every year, like clockwork, someone predicts the future. Sometimes it's a mystic from history, sometimes it's a modern guru, other times it's a viral Instagram reel. But every time, millions panic. Why? Because prophecies have a power. They tell people what they desperately want to know or what they secretly fear. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Pratishtha Raghav, and this is Point Blank. From Baba Vanga to Nostradamus to social media astrologers, predictions have traveled through centuries and screens. Some say they can see the future, some say they can feel it, some say it's destiny. And then there are those who just see opportunity. Opportunity in fear, opportunity in panic, opportunity in uncertainty. Because where there is fear, there is control. And when there is control, there is profit. For many, prophecies aren't about fear. They're about guidance. They're about comfort. They're about finding hope. Hope that the universe always has a plan. Across cultures, from Indian astrology to biblical prophecy, millions find spiritual strength, not panic. So, this isn't an attack on belief. Faith is personal, faith deserves respect. But blind trust, blind surrender, that is where the danger begins. So, why do humans believe in prophecies? Psychology explains this in three key ways. First is uncertainty anxiety. When life feels unpredictable, the mind starts to look for anchors, thus, starts to believe in prophecies because it gives the mind a calming effect. Secondly, brain has a seeking pattern. It will always try to find patterns in everything. That is why suddenly a vague prediction starts to fit events. And the third key way is confirmation bias. We remember one prediction that goes right, but forget thousands that did not. That is why general lines like a great tragedy will shake the world will always feel true because someone, somewhere, is unfortunately always going through a tragedy. So prophecies aren't dangerous just by themselves, but the people using them to manipulate others are. History has seen it, politics has seen it, religion has seen it, and the internet sees it every day. There are thousands of cases, thousands of articles that have filled the internet where people are being manipulated, people are at losses just because they believed. One most prominent case regarding prophecies is the 2011 Doomsday Prophecy by Harold Camping, a preacher who predicted a global apocalypse. Thousands sold property, quit jobs, emptied savings, but the world didn't end. Their lives did. Another way in which frauds take place are through self-proclaimed godmen who promise miracles, visions, future, and build their empires on their followers' money. Most of them end up in arrests, raids, and scams, not because belief was wrong, but because exploitation was proven. An article published in Deccan Herald on 5th November 2025, which took place in Bangalore, which says fake godmen dupe public with money multiplying ritual, is a perfect example of how people are being manipulated just for having faith. Sometimes modern prophets don't wear robes, they wear suits. Some self proclaimed visionaries say that they saw the future and urge people to buy a specific type of cryptocurrency. Turns out, those tokens were their own. So, this wasn't spirituality, it was sales described as destiny. An article published in NDTV World says that a US pastor accused of $3.2 million crypto scam says God told him to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, false prophets do not convince people by magic. They convince people through psychology. They use fear language, they use spiritual guilt, emotional vulnerability. But if you doubt, You are disrespecting God, you're disrespecting divinity, you're disrespecting your own spirituality. But they don't see that covering up their bad doings through divinity is as worse. And in this cycle, they replace your faith with fear, your logic with emotion, and your devotion with control. Researching about this topic made something extremely clear. People don't fall for prophecies because they want to see the future. They chase them because they are afraid of the present. Across articles, documentaries, scientific researchers, and real scams, one pattern stood out. Humans don't fall for them because they are foolish, they fall for them because they are human. Having faith is a normal human thing to have. Because we all want reassurance, we all want direction, we all want hope. But when that hope feels missing, somebody somewhere comes up with answers, fills our minds with baseless logic and spiritual guilt. But, ladies and gentlemen, not every guide is genuine, not every vision is sacred, and not every guru worships the divine. Some worship their bank accounts. So, yes, having faith is a personal right. But surrendering judgment in the name of faith is not. It is vulnerability disguised as devotion. Because the moment we stop questioning, we give up our free will. And that is exactly where these false prophets win. That was all for this video. Do let me know in the comments what you think about prophecies and what you would like to see me cover next. You all have been wonderful listeners. I was Pratishtha Raghav. This was Point Blank. I'll see you all in the next one. Jai Hind.